Welcome to Insights. I'm Eric. I want to do a soybeans review to follow up the grains review. I'm going to keep this one open content as well because there's nothing to be divulged that the subscribers don't know. The primary trend is still up. In terms of the evolution of the trade, we're in the A and E phase because this phase column is blank, which means that we're still triple up or triple down, but we can see it's triple up here. The daily and weekly trends are still extended, and we can see that by the bold red numbers here. And here you have a red bold. The time cycle on the weekly is not quite as extended. So the opportunity for a correction is still relatively high. It doesn't mean that the market's going to be taken down. It could be just enough to reset the daily and leave the weekly alone. We don't know. We're just going to have to wait. The primary trend is what drives the evolution of the trade, and the primary trend is looking fairly solid. It's got a negative time cycle, and it's at its mean in terms of its price cycle. It's probably one of the reasons why soybeans is correcting here. Let's see how far the correction goes. The correction is going to be driven largely by energy. Everything else is looking fairly solid. Subscribers can go in and take a peek at the pro charts here. The pro charts looks pretty good. The professionals are still buying. If you have any questions about that, you can contact me directly. But energy is something I want you to concentrate on this week and the coming weeks. It'll probably take several weeks in order for this to fully develop. But the energy build is still relatively negative. I mean, it's minus 53 and minus 48. The DI2 is quite large and quite negative, so that this needs to be resolved. And WA, which is a measure of participation, is pinned to the top, and the pinned at 100 means that participation is going to have to eke out of this a bit. We're going to have to lose some interest here. Usually a sell-off causes people to lose interest and move on to something else, so we'll watch that as well. Let's open up the energy charts for soybeans, and we'll take a quick look at them before we close out this review. There's not a ton of stuff to talk about, but I think this is the leader of the grains. It needs to be addressed specifically. Here's the soybeans diffusion chart. This is the energy build. Anything that's down below this line is a bearish energy build. Anything above here is a bullish energy build. So you can see where the problems lie. The prior two energy builds caused a sell-off. But then this one right here aborted. It powered through, and the rally is taking place, and it's formed blocking domes, which will either cause the trend to reverse or slow the markup phase. I'm thinking that a slowing of the markup phase is most likely, considering the fundamentals of the backdrop for all grains is looking quite bullish, but we don't know that. We can't make that assumption. All we can do is follow the energy builds and follow the primary trend. So the primary trend's up. What we're going to look for here is a curling up action of this towards the zero line or above the zero line would be the most powerful. The farther up DI, and it's going to be DI2 is going to move slowly. The farther up DI moves, the more bullish it will be for a stronger move to the upside or for continuation. What I want to stress here is that these setups take time. They don't get resolved within a week. They tend to be resolved over a period of months and multiple months. So wait and be patient. Your core position is long soybeans. It has been for, well, let's head back to the matrix, and it has been for many months. 5 months. It's up 23%. So there's other markets that are blowing the cover off, and nobody's really concentrating on the grains. I do think the grains could be a real winner going forward here. So we're watching the whole complex. This is the leader, so let's focus on the leader. Let's wait for that daily reset to come. Let's see if the weekly price cycle can come down or flips. If it's a deep correction, this will flip too. I can't tell you if it's going to be a shallow or really a deep correction. If anyone's watched the Bitcoin review, the depth of corrections are really determined by the response that takes place in the energy profile, and that's something that you just have to wait. I'm sure the day traders will be buying the dips like crazy, and perhaps that'll work out this time. The evolution of the trade followers like us, we're already in this. We've been in it for 5 months, and we're not touching that position. I mean that's going to move. That's going to move. We're going to move out of it when this whole series flips over to this side. This is the bearish column impulse. This is the bullish. So we're stuck in the bullish for now. When could the correction go to? Well, I mean, the seasonalities are fairly favorable for soybeans all the way through June. So it is hinting towards a shallower correction than a deep one. Blocking domes can be resolved. So in terms of a shallower correction, it's likely that energy is not going to go as high as we would think it would. It's not going to probably reach 60. It might be lucky to get neutral at 0. If it does, that could be quite bullish considering the favorable seasonality backdrop. Now, in terms of like a real correction that probably maybe challenges the weekly oversold conditions, maybe that comes in the summertime. But we would have to address that as we enter the summer and see what everything looks like, see what the cycles look like, see what price cycles look like. I mean, everything is relative. So that's really the setup for soybeans. It is the leader in the grains market. Everything's looking pretty good. There's no reason to be pessimistic about anything yet. We're just trying to get a reset to escalate the core position or build it back up, or make it larger than what we had when we first bought in. Some people bought the nibble if there was one. Some people just bought the flip. Others might be looking to get in for the first time here. The other grain markets are lagging, and they're more of targets to buy into, but oftentimes owning the leader is the best way to go. So that's the review for soybeans today. If you have any questions, you can contact me directly or lay some comments down below the video, and that always works. I can respond to them pretty non-specifically, and I can address them in the blog as well. So thanks for watching the video, and have a good trading day.